Welcome back to my channel for a real short fun episode. What I want to do in this video is I want to combine my beloved 503CW, which is one of the most prominent medium format film cameras in the Hasselblad 500 series, with an instant film back. And if you hear the word instant, you might think about the Leica Sofort series, you might think about Fuji instant cameras, you might think about Polaroid, but it is really possible by the creative ideas of a guy whose name I'm going to reveal in a moment to actually combine these vintage cameras with absolutely fantastic lenses, also with an instant film back, and then immediately get the results, because this instant back will spit out the image the moment in time I push a button. And that's really cool. I wanted to share this on my channel. I hope you enjoyed. Let's kick this off. Let's do some quick housekeeping first. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do so. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, share my content with other pro photographers or photography enthusiasts, and in this way help me to grow my channel. I will be very grateful for that. And now let's go right into the topic. So the 503CW is a classical representative of the Hasselblad 500 series. I've shown this camera before on my channel. I will post the videos down below in the info box, and I've shown how to combine this based on the downward compatibility with the Hasselblad CFV digital backs. And the most recent one I mounted on this camera is the Hasselblad CFV 100C with that medium format 44mm x 33mm medium format sensor. And to remove the film back here, which is currently mounted, is very easy. I just have to push that lever here gently and then remove the film back. And then we have the camera body here and the lens. The lens I have mounted at this point in time here, let me get the lens cap off, is a Carl Zeiss lens. It's a macro planar, widest open f4, and its focal length is 120mm. You also see that this is a T-star lens, so has certain coating on it, which is very helpful for the optical quality of whatever comes out of that camera lens combination, depending on the back I've mounted here, be it a digital back or a film roll back. Now, what is very ingenious in the Hasselblad system is that there is downward compatibility. So instead of that film back here, I can easily mount the CFV 100C, which is this beauty here. And I've shown this before on my channel. And then you just have a digital back sitting on a vintage camera body with a vintage lens, and you get absolutely fantastic, terrific footage out of it. More dreamy than the modern camera lens combinations, where you have very often a very clean, very sharp image, but an image sometimes without soul. And that works like a charm. Now, how would it be if instead of the film back, where I actually have, after my shooting, to carry the film to development and then wait at least overnight, if not a couple of days, before I get the final results into my hands, if I could mount on this camera body an instant film back, which immediately spits out the photos the moment in time I've taken the shot. That is a really cool idea. And there is actually a guy, and I want to introduce his name here by looking at the packaging in which this instant film back was shipped to me. It says HassyPB. I come to that in a moment. And the name of the guy who invented all this is John Cassava. Let me get this out here and show you. Here you see, thank you for being a great hubs between us, John Cassava. And that guy has a YouTube channel. It's called the Hasselblad Expert, and it's, in my opinion, one of the most underrated photography channels on YouTube, because the number of followers John Cassava has on his YouTube channel is by far not reflecting the ingenious content this guy is producing. Probably there are some language barriers. Not every time it's really clear in terms of the verbal expression what he wants to tell us. But what he's posting in terms of content, the expertise he brings to the table, if you look at his deep expertise on Hasselblad film cameras and photography in general, is absolutely mind-blowing. I can only recommend you to visit his channel, have a look, and if you're really into Hasselblad, this is an opportunity to subscribe. And I hardly make any recommendations for subscription on my channel for other channels than my own, but this one is really worth it. And John Cassava is also the inventor and founder of HassyPB, which you see here. And that's the first version of this instant film back here. And I'm going to introduce this in this video. We are going to shoot it. I will explain to you everything you need to know about that. And there is a Mark II version, a Mark III version. I had absolutely no chance to get my hands on these. They are all sold out, at least as what my research on the internet is telling me. And this one here I got from eBay, I think for a couple of $100, so quite affordable. And I enjoyed big time shooting with this instant film back on my Hasselblad 503CW. Attaching this instant film back, you see here the name again, HassyPB, on the camera body is pretty much straightforward. If you look at the film back, you have here these two spare outs, and these two spare outs are here on the film back on the left hand side and the right hand side. They need to get connected with these metal hooks here, and then we have here a mechanism with a lever I can push to actually connect it on the top side. So it's pretty much straightforward. Let's try to do this here. Always a bit difficult in front of the camera, but it will work. Let's see if we get this here connected. Here we go. Now I have to slide this, and then it is connected, and it is a pretty solid construction. Look at that. And now actually I have here, instead of my film back or my digital back, the CFV, I have now an instant film back, and I can choose now to get my images out immediately by the push of a button, which I'm going to illustrate in a moment. And I think this, first of all, looks good, but it also is an ingenious construction. I mean, how ingenious needs a person to be to come up with an idea to shoot a Hasselblad 500 series camera with instant film from Fuji? And John Kasawa was that ingenious person, and I really admire him for this. Again, I regret that I don't get my hands on the HassyPB Mark II or HassyPB Mark III, because there are some improvements which I'm going to mention in a moment. But even this original version is absolutely fun to shoot on the Hasselblad 503CW. Now this original version here of the HassyPB, or let's call it the Mark I, has a few shortcomings, because you need to stop down in order to avoid any focus shifting. And what the HassyPB user guidelines here say, which was shipped in the box, is that you're on the safe side whenever you shoot at f8, f11, f16 and f22. And I will actually shoot at f8 and at f11, but if you want to open the aperture wider, and this lens here, by the way, can be shut as wide as an f4, then you need to take into account some focus shifting, and you cannot rely on focusing via waist level finder in the usual way. And for certain lenses here, there is a little bit of a user guide what you need to do to make sure that your focus sits spot on your subject. On the Mark II and the Mark III, this has been improved as far as I know. So there is no longer any focus shift adjustment necessary, and you can shoot with whatever aperture you want without taking care of potential focus shifting. And that is a big advantage, of course. For me in this video, it doesn't play a role because I shoot at the recommended apertures here for best results, f8 and f11, so it will be fine. But you know, if you ever want to purchase this type of instant film back, make sure you get the Mark II at least, if not the Mark III, because there are more improvements coming with it, which you can look up on the channel of John Kasawa, the Hasselblad expert. But I had absolutely no chance finding them for purchase somewhere online. I only found this one here on eBay, and I was really desperate to try it out. So we are working with the Mark I version here, and you will see it is nevertheless a lot of fun shooting this beast here on the back of the 503CW. I want to play now some clips how it is shooting this instant film back on the 503CW. And then I will basically conclude my video, because there's not that much to say. I can recommend to you making that experience. As I said, it cost me a couple of $100 to get this from eBay, and I think the newer versions are not that much more expensive if you get a chance to get your hands on them and purchase them somewhere. And if you are into medium format photography, then this is really a great experience shooting instant film on a legendary legacy camera like a 503CW. So let's look into these clips. Let me show you the workflow, and then let's conclude the video. Before concluding the video, let me make one more remark. And the charming character of the Hasselblad system from the digital portfolio, let's say the CFV 100C and the 907X downwards to these analog cameras, is that there is always compatibility. So instead of mounting my film back, I can always mount my digital back. And a natural question, of course, is, since this instant film back is now fitting on my 500 series Hasselblad cameras, will it also fit on the 907X camera body? And this is this one here, currently mounted the XCD55, and the answer to that unfortunately is no. And the reason is, let me open this up here for you. Here we don't have only these two hooks, we also have something in between, and that actually makes it impossible for the instant film back here to be mounted on the 907X camera bodies. Let me show you quickly. Let me unmount this here. If you look here, it really needs these two hooks here and nothing in between to fit into these two spare outs. And here we have the two hooks, but we also have some metal in between. If you look here, this is one solid piece here, and that makes it impossible to mount this instant film back, unfortunately, on the 907X. So here the fun stops. You really need to mount this on the 500 series Hasselblad cameras in the medium format film camp. You cannot mount it on this modern camera body here. It will not work, but that, at least for me, doesn't take away the fun I have with this HassyPB, which I mentioned repeatedly now is also available as a HassyPB Mark II and Mark III. And maybe once in a while, or John Cassava, if you're watching that video and you have one spare left, maybe you want to send it to me and I do another video about this beautiful gadget here, which in my opinion is ingeniously invented to fit on Series 500 Hasselblad cameras to give you immediate results by just the push of a button. How beautiful is that? Alright, you've seen how it is to shoot this camera with that instant film back, and I have a couple of images here which I actually took. This is in the studio here. I have another one which is my sister-in-law posing in the kitchen. This one is a bit underexposed, of course, and if you really want to go for longer exposures, I recommend that you go for a cable release like this one here. And then if you look into this here, you can actually screw this into the shutter release button in the same way as I showed in the clips, and then this comes out for shooting, and you can remotely actually release the shot, which will save you any shakes and vibrations on the camera bodies by pushing the shutter release button. Here, little image down in the garden. Here my little dragon, which you see back there on the TV. Here just photographing, you know, the sunset on my TV, and more images from Jennifer, of course. They are all pinpoint sharp. I was very surprised. Of course, this is a really good lens here. These macroplanar lenses from Carl Zeiss, they are just absolutely stunning. And I was nevertheless surprised on instant film to get that much quality. Of course, you could now digitize them up to, I don't know how many megapixel, probably, you know, 50 to 100 megapixel is not a problem in this format here, if you look at that. And if I would use my high resolution DPI Epson scanner, I can probably produce this in a digital format. And the really charming character of an instant film back, of course, is that whatever you do, you immediately get the result out. You immediately get your shot. You don't have to wait. You don't have to take it to someone who develops it for you if you don't have a dark room with all the chemicals in your own studio. You just get the result right away into your hands. And that is very charming, of course. And then in combination with these beautiful 500 series Hasselblad cameras, that is, of course, something that provides a lot of satisfaction. If you liked that video, don't forget to drop me a thumbs up. Stay tuned on my channel. There's always more to come. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and healthy. And of course, peace out.